Ron Barron is the definition of a buy and hold investor. This clip from a recent interview currently doing the rounds in which he said, quote, "I don't expect to sell my personal Tesla stock in my lifetime."
Tesla, because you have been an investor with Barron Funds since 2014. So more than a decade that you've been standing by Elon Musk. It's been a very good bet for your firm. You've made how many $1 billion on Elon Musk since then?
Made about $8 billion in Tesla from $400 million when we started. And in SpaceX, we've made about $4 billion since we started that in 2017. So about 12 or 13 billion we've made so far. I think we're going to make 5 times that next 10 years.
You came out strongly in favor of his new pay package that could pay him $1 billion over time if they meet certain metrics. It was not a surprise to me because you've talked to us on the show for a long time about how you feel about him and how he is the key man and how none of these companies would be anywhere near where they are without him. Your conviction, why you believe in that, and then your concentration in his stocks at this point. I was shocked. In your personal portfolio, I think 65% of your personal investments are tied to Elon Musk through either SpaceX or Tesla or XAI.
Hey, yo, hold my beer. I'm around 90%, all from Tesla stock. The only reason it's not closer to 100%, of course, I've got some real estate that I began purchasing between 2010 and 2015, still holding. It's done pretty well. Now, most financial advisors would have an absolute heart attack and say that's insane, you should never do that. But also, I feel like it's worth pointing out that most financial advisors saying that also still need to work for a living. Of course, no one gives a fuck about what I've got to say. Ron Barron, however, has an extremely impressive ultra long-term track record. And to hear him disclosing 65+%, give or take, of his entire net worth is tied to Musk-related projects, some of which are not publicly traded companies, e.g. SpaceX, XAI. Now, this really tells you something. The guy clearly believes in Musk. Not just Musk, but Musk's companies in terms of their investment potential. Out of interest, does anyone know of any other investors worth at least $1 billion, if not many billions of dollars, like Ron, who are more concentrated in just a few companies in terms of their total net worth? Very uncommon. You'll see founders of companies who have shares in a company they founded often with a huge portion of their net worth in that particular company. But from an investor point of view, this is unheard of. I think that means that Ron Barron has a big brain and big balls.
It's about 40%, personally, it's about 40% in Tesla and about 25% in SpaceX, and the balance 35% in our mutual funds. And in SpaceX, I think we're going to make 10 times over the next 10 years. Tesla, I think we're going to make 5 times, and my mutual funds, I think we're going to make 3 times.
So you know what's crazy? First of all, if you're being technical, Ron's disclosing that 65% of his personal net worth is either Tesla or SpaceX. But then the rest of it is the mutual fund, which itself owns big slices of SpaceX and Tesla. So technically, he's above 65% in Musk-related projects. But even crazier still is Ron admitting that he believes that he's going to make 10 times on SpaceX, 5 times on Tesla, and their mutual fund, a product that people can invest in. He's on the record saying that's probably not going to produce a return that's even close to Tesla and nowhere near SpaceX over the next decade. You got to love the honesty.
So it's obviously riskier if you put a large percentage of your money in one entity. For our mutual funds, it's about 22% invested in SpaceX and Tesla, 11% apiece. And then XAI, that's an investment that's smaller right now, but we've only invested, $350 million in XAI. It's now worth $700 million. That was 2 or 3 years ago. And the next pricing is going to be probably double where it is now. It means about $1.5 trillion, so it's going to be in our top 10 in the next time they price.
I was thinking back to several years ago when you actually sold some Tesla. You did it at the time only because the stock had increased so much in value to the point where it made you a little uncomfortable with how big of a position it was in the funds. It wasn't a commentary on you losing faith in Elon Musk or in the stock, but at the time you said, look, I can't as a fund manager have that big of a position in it. What has changed? Because I think you have a much bigger position today.
Well, I didn't feel uncomfortable, but my clients felt uncomfortable. And I was being criticized for having such a large investment in one company.
I remember this very well. Ron himself super comfortable, but many clients, aka his investors, "Hey Ron, you invested so well, you made so much money, Tesla's gone up so much, bro, I don't like it. Please, I'm uncomfortable." The irony of somebody killing it so much, investing so well, making such a massive return on an investment that clients who are investing with the guy are not comfortable. I mean, just think about it for a moment. You did such a great job that I'm now no longer comfortable with such a gigantic position in a single company because it's done so well. Stop being so good at investing.
And we had bought stock at $10 or $15 a share, 12, and it was trading at 220. And we sold for our clients about 25% of their investment. I wanted to make...
Yep, you heard it. Due to pressure from investors, aka clients, they sold a decent slice of their Tesla holdings back around $220 a share. Ouch. Again, I mean, Ron's got to do what Ron's got to do. But if they had just continued to hold...
Sure that they knew that the reason they held the stock was because I thought it was still interesting as opposed to that I had died. And so I didn't want them to think I died, and that's the only reason they still owned it. So we sold a quarter of the stock, and then the stock hadn't done anything for 3 or 4 years. And then when President Trump was elected, the stock in the first part of this year went up dramatically, went up to 400, and we sold 5% more. So we sold 30% for clients. I did not sell personally a single share. And what I committed to the board of our mutual funds is that I was the last purchaser. I haven't really invested in stocks since 1992 in public companies. And I told the board, if you let me invest in this, when I tried to get everyone else to invest, nobody else wanted to at Barron Capital. So I said, if you let me invest a certain amount of money, then what I will do is I will promise that I won't sell any of my stock. And I told you I wouldn't invest, but let me break my promise and let me invest. And then I will be the last person out of the stock. So I will not sell a single share of my company, of my shares, until my clients have sold 100% of their shares. And I don't expect to sell in my lifetime Tesla or SpaceX, either one.
Wow. That is...
Absolute legend. Ron had to ask special permission to personally invest in Tesla stock due to potential conflicts of interest and rah-rah. So he said, my promise is I won't sell any until our clients have sold out of everything in our financial products. Our funds won't sell a single share, therefore I'll probably hold that indefinitely, at least a portion of Tesla, therefore probably never selling while I'm alive. So a couple of things. The fact that Ron was so adamant he wanted to invest in Tesla that he had to and did ask permission as opposed to just go, fuck it, whatever. This really shows level of conviction. He really personally wanted to invest in this company. He also mentioned that he hadn't invested in publicly traded companies personally since 1992. Many people listening weren't even born then. So Tesla was the first company he saw and went, holy fuck, dude, I need some of this personally. I have to. And the guy on the record doesn't intend on selling any Tesla or SpaceX in his lifetime. Now, for those that are wondering, well, hang on, shouldn't you sell your shares to lock in a profit? What's the point of investing otherwise? If you don't know, once you have enough balance, enough assets, you can set up what's known as an asset-backed line of credit or a stock-backed line of credit. It's a long story, but the short version, if done well and correctly, you can borrow money against your shares and use that for whatever, including funding your lifestyle, with an interest-only facility, with capitalized interest, so you don't actually pay the interest back, but instead it just adds to the amount you owe. If structured well, you don't end up paying any of this off while you're alive, but when you pass away, your estate clears the remaining debt. That's a simple explanation. The buy, borrow, die strategy.
A huge commitment and a huge amount of faith that you have in Elon Musk and his companies.
Companies are really unusual. You know, when you think about what he's doing, you talk about the pay package, and you know, this is not like Rockefeller or like Carnegie or like Mellon or like Morgan, when Ford, the great industrialists who built this nation. This guy is like Da Vinci, and an artist, and you know, he remembers everything. It's incredible, and the opportunities that he's trying to take advantage of for his clients and for himself. So we say, so why is he doing this? Why, when you're worth that much money, why do you do this? You know, think about that. Why is he doing this? Why is he working these crazy hours? Why is he risking his health? And to me, you know, what's the difference between $400 billion net worth and $1 trillion? What's the difference? It's not saving up for a beach house. And so the way I think about it is that he wants to think about how people will remember him someday, what he's created, how he's helped humanity survive.
So you think he's playing for legacy?
Yes, definitely. What else could you do? And then he thinks that the business right now, he doesn't really get paid unless the company goes up in value from here 6 times.
Do you think it will?
Yes.
You do?
I think...
Bro, Ron didn't even flinch. We just got to rewind that. How quickly he responded to this, didn't bat an eyelid, absolute conviction. Importantly, like Ron tends to speak at a fairly slow cadence, but watch how quickly he responded to that question. I'm going to replay this in real time.
Do you think it will?
Yes.
You do?
One more time.
Now, he doesn't really get paid unless the company goes up in value from here 6 times.
Do you think it will?
Yes.
You do?
I think
Even Robin Denholm wasn't so sure.
when you're the head of a public company, other than Elon Musk, you have to be guarded about what you say about your business prospects. And you can say one thing in public, and I don't think anyone believes who works at Tesla that he's not going to make 5 or 6 or 7 times in 10 years and 4 or 5 times again after that. I think that I'm thinking about 2,500 of where his stock's going to be, Tesla's stock's going to be in 10 years, and I think it's going to be 4 times that.
Is that a function of automobiles? Is that a function of robots? What is that, in your mind, what is the driver of that?
Have you watched his annual meeting?
I have.
Did you see what he was talking about for Optimus?
Well, Optimus is, I think, for him, the next sort of leg of this whole
He thinks it's the biggest thing ever. And so next year it's going to be 1 million of those units, and he thinks 10 million after that, building a production line right now for 1 million, and it's going to be 10 million, it's going to be 100 million. He thinks it's $1 billion a year that he's going to be able to make in these robots. Think about that, $1 billion a year, $20,000 robots that are going to be, labor saving.
So astronomical goals. And I just had a thought. I know it's really out there, but if Tesla did get to 1 billion robots per year, wouldn't it be cool to work out how many of those robots, at least what fraction of one of those robots, is your share of Tesla's annual production based on your current share count? If you don't know, today Tesla has roughly, let's just call it and round it up a little bit, 3.5 billion total shares. If you're a finance nerd, just fucking relax, bro, okay? A nice round number. That's roughly how many shares either exist and or will exist based on stock-based compensation, blah, blah, blah. If Tesla was producing 1 billion humanoid robots per year, and you own, let's just say, 4 shares of Tesla, one of those robots, plus probably the leg and half an arm of another robot, is your share of that annual production. You own 35 shares of Tesla stock today? That's right. 10 of those robots, your share of the production. Absolutely ridiculous scale.
Everyone's like, this is a sustainable abundance that he talks about. Sustainable energy is what he had before. Now it's sustainable abundance. He thinks everyone's going to have much better lives, much more prosperous lives, and then maybe there'll be a beach in Mars somewhere.
And Musk recently gave an example at the Tesla shareholder meeting about robot surgeons. Now, this won't apply to everybody, but if anyone's watching who's ever needed to have surgery and it wasn't an ultra emergency, how long did you need to wait? In fact, how long was it from your first consultation with a surgeon, which itself may have taken months, half a year, maybe even an entire year or more, just to have the first consultation with the surgeon, who then wants to get some x-rays, MRIs, blah, blah, blah done. And then how long was the delay between the first consultation, which itself could have taken the better part of a year, and actually being booked in for surgery and going under the knife? The answer to most people for this question is too fucking long. And the reason is a massive lack of skilled surgeons. Imagine instead an abundance of robotic surgeons available. Almost zero cost, no extraordinary wait times. This is just one example. When Musk talks about sustainable abundance for all, he literally means it. Now, it ain't going to happen tomorrow, but that is the goal. That is the publicly stated goal. And call me nuts, but I don't intend on selling any Tesla shares during my lifetime, and I also wouldn't be betting against Elon Musk and Tesla. Maybe they fall short of that 1 billion robots per year. Maybe they only get to 100 million. Oh no, it's the end of the world. Or what if they fall dramatically short of the goal and only get to 1% of that? What if they're only at a mere 10 million humanoid robots per year? It's still absolutely gigantic. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 has been part of my daily health protocol for almost half a decade. It's packed full of vitamins and minerals and helps me fill in nutritional gaps while supporting energy, digestion, and immune function. It also has prebiotics and probiotics to promote gut health. I take my health very seriously, and so should you. Try AG1 today by visiting drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link in the pinned comment and enjoy a free welcome kit with vitamin D3 plus K2 and AG1 travel packs. That's drinkag1.com/SMR.